record this. And just want to welcome everyone here tonight. For the 150th time we sat together this year, which I mentioned that to someone early, and they're like, is that in 1 year? I'm like, yes. So I'm so thankful to be able to sit with everyone throughout the week. And something that really began 2 years ago with Sam and Brooke and has continued so beautifully. And everyone here is so special to each other. And really special thanks also to Sam and Brooke and Sarah, who's joining us tonight, who begins her facilitation this week. And of course, the others that have facilitated with us, Lucia and Evan, and different guest facilitators. So just so thankful to this entire community for coming together for each other. It's a special place. Tonight is also a day to mark 6 months since our last Tonglen practice, which was to recognize and sit with those that were suffering in Ukraine. It was a very powerful practice. And also, of course, 21 years ago with 9/11. So it's, I think, a day to commemorate and to sit with some of the struggles. And with that, I'd like to bring on Brooke, who will introduce tonight's practice.
Thank you, Peter. Before I sort of give a very brief overview about what Tonglen meditation is, I wanted to just share a quick story in remembrance of those that were lost on this day 21 years ago in New York City, in Washington, D.C., and in Pennsylvania. There was a young man who was 24 years old named Wells Crowther, who was a stock trader in the southern tower at the World Trade Center. And he was on the, I think, 72nd floor when the second plane hit the tower. And people didn't know what happened to him until months later, when survivors from the South Tower shared their experiences, and they shared about how they saw a young man wearing a red bandana running up the tower and carrying people down to the floors where there were still elevators that were working so they could evacuate the building. And he did this many times and ended up saving 18 people, at least 18 people, on September 11th, and losing his own life in the process. And one of the last things that a survivor heard him saying was, if you can help people, do so. And so that's what I hope as we kind of go into tonight's practice and as we reflect on the memories of those that were lost and those that have been affected by the attacks on September 11th, that we can take it into our hearts as a call to love one another, to be of help and support to one another in ways both small and large when we have the opportunity. And so tonight's practice of Tonglen meditation is one way that we can prepare our hearts to turn towards difficulties in the world, both within our own lives and that are being experienced by others. And so Tonglen comes from Tibet and also has influences from India, present-day India, but it's a practice that's existed for at least 1,000 years, probably much longer. And it literally means sending out and taking in or receiving. And in this practice, we will practice with offering out with each exhale wishes for others to be free from suffering, to be healthy, to be happy, to be safe. And with each of our inhale, we take on or open ourselves up to witnessing their difficulty and also to transforming that difficulty into whatever wish we may hold for them. So ease, peace, safety. And so Sam will guide us through that practice tonight. But I encourage you as we practice tonight to just be gentle with yourself, be gentle with your own heart. And just see what comes up. So thank you all. Thank you for being in this space together.
So I just want to say, I think Peter is going to begin to lead us in, but I wanted to just add to the preparation that Brooke gave to just highlight that it is a really tender day for anyone. I imagine even more so for those older than me who were more aware and sentient at that time, and know more people perhaps are really deeply impacted. So this practice can be very tender, and please know that at any moment, if it feels overwhelming, first of all, that's okay. And part of the idea is that we're inviting difficulty so that we can process it together with others. But also that if you feel that at a moment it's too much, you're invited to stop practicing or to feel what's going on in your feet or your hands, or to look around the room and to look at all these other lovely faces who are here practicing with you. I hope that's okay.
Thank you, Sam. And thanks, Brooke. And tonight's practice, we invite you to take a comfortable seat. Feel comfortable in your space. Perhaps as you settle in, just begin to close your eyes if that feels right. Perhaps gazing through your eyelashes in the distance. Just sensing for a moment any difficulties or challenges that you may be feeling as we begin this practice. It's just noticing in your body where you may be feeling that. During this practice, and perhaps even now, you may have thoughts or hear sounds in the background. I invite you to just let those thoughts leave as you return to your seat, your body, the space that you occupy. They feel some connection to the earth below you, whether that's through your feet, your seat, if you're lying down, your entire body. Perhaps feeling comforted by that fact, being so supported by the earth, this loving earth that is with us each moment, perhaps even cradling us at times. You may also notice your breath. We breathe from the moment we arrive to the moment that we pass, mostly not recognizing it. So just tap into your breath. Don't have to change it. Noticing if it's shallow or soft, maybe strained or easy. Perhaps watching the breath as it comes in through your nostrils, driving into your body. Leaving in the same way it came in, but perhaps differently. Noticing when is the moment that your inhale turns into an exhale, perhaps. A transformation that happens so many times each day. Just following your breath. I invite you to bring your focus to your heart. This loving, supportive heart center. And sense your breath connecting with your heart, almost as if your heart had lungs. Breathing in the body of your breath directly into your heart. And breathing out this body of your breath. Perhaps feeling the coolness of this breath as it enters your heart space. And the warmth as it exits.
Stay with this flow of air moving in and out of the heart. As you call to mind some of your loved ones. Breathe in and out of the heart the sweetness of these feelings that you share with these special people in your life. As if breathing in and receiving their love, and breathing out your love back to them, your wishes for their happiness, their well-being. Not expecting too much out of this process, just one breath at a time. Inhaling the love of your friends, family, other loved ones. Exhaling your appreciation and well wishes for them. One breath at a time. Getting to know this feeling of warmth and appreciation in the heart, becoming familiar. And keeping it close in mind as you call to mind something that is difficult for you personally. Of course, we're thinking about the larger significance of this day and the troubles of the world, but start with the troubles of your life, which might seem small in the perspective of the world. Something that's been challenging you recently. Breathe this into your heart and fully welcome the difficulty that's part of being in your life right now. And as you breathe out, beginning to breathe out a wish of kindness and friendliness to yourself. And if that's difficult, imagine that you're sharing the breath of your loved ones who breathe this same wish out for you, for your life to improve, for you to be happier, for you to struggle less. Inhaling this difficulty that's part of your life and exhaling an earnest wish that it resolves. One inhale, one exhale. Imagine many such people that have a similar struggle. Perhaps it's trouble with a coworker, if you're me. Perhaps it's issue with your family or issue with a loved one, partner, some other part of your life. Imagine many such people around the world that have this same difficulty. And knowing what it feels like for yourself, beginning to inhale for all of these people. Taking a breath for everyone that might not be paying attention to their breath and the way their struggles are impacting them. Welcoming this difficulty of many people around the world with an inhale, and adding with your exhale just a sincere wish, one breath at a time, that you send goodness out for everyone with such a struggle, to see a little more ease, a little less challenge, a little more comfort. We'll take this in a slightly different direction. Beginning to breathe in, imagining that there are people just the same as the people you've been breathing in for, just like you. Except now these people are facing all sorts of more difficulty, caught in a war, perhaps. Recently losing loved ones, perhaps. Inhaling for these people, helping share the load of their struggle. Fully breathing in, letting the heart do what it does best and transform this pain into kindness. One breath at a time. Breathing in with the fear. And breathing out with ease. Breathing in heartbreak. And breathing out loving care. One breath at a time. Breathing in for older pains and griefs people carry with them for many years. Perhaps we ourselves are not strangers to these kinds of pains. Breathing these in too, for the whole world. And gently breathing out a feeling of your most sincere wish for the world to be in a little less pain, to struggle a little less, to wrestle with itself a little bit less. Continue practice in this way for the next minute or two, doing what feels appropriate with your breath and your heart, wherever your mind goes, not losing track of what's happening in your heart. Now, dropping any pretense of practicing or doing something special, just center your attention in your heart for a few more moments. Feeling it beat if you can. Moving your attention up to the air coming in and out of your nose. Perhaps the way it flows over your upper lip. Cherishing each breath. Imagining for a moment that you couldn't be certain that you would take another inhale. How would this exhale be? If this was your last exhale, how would that inhale be that follows it? So we begin to move practice for this evening to a close. I'll read this passage by a monk from nearly 2,000 years ago, who was probably doing something very similar to what we were doing tonight when he wrote this. May I be protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring freedom. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine. And may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Counting 10 breaths from your heart. And as you feel ready, after those 10 breaths, and begin a slow process of returning. Coming back on your own time. It feels supportive. You can tune into the weight of your body. You can make some small movements, take some fuller breaths. And when you feel it's the right time, you can come back visually as well.